You did everything right. No gluten, no dairy, no cheating, and you still woke up with a flare. That moment is one of the worst parts of living with Hashimoto's, and it deserves a real answer, not a shrug. Here's what most thyroid content won't tell you. Food is only one thread in a much more complicated web. Life itself, the stress, the sleep debt, the spin classes, even the people you love can trigger an immune response just as hard as a bowl of pasta. This channel exists because midlife women and men dealing with fatigue, weight that won't budge, hormones that feel completely off, and doctors who keep saying, your labs look fine, deserve actual answers, not platitudes. Today, we're going deep on the lifestyle triggers that most people never connect to their flares. You're going to want to stay until the very end, where I reveal a family secret that significantly changed my life and caused me to experience an autoimmune condition similar to Hashimoto's, but how I put it in remission with lifestyle and sheer determination. The ultimate immune saboteur is stress. Stress is the trigger hiding in plain sight, and most people dramatically underestimate how physical it actually is. Chronic stress doesn't just make you feel anxious or overwhelmed, it chemically reshapes your immune environment. When your body is locked in survival mode, healing is not on the priority list. Cortisol spikes, T3 conversion drops, and your immune system treats everything like a threat. That cascade is not a mindset issue, it's physiology, and it's directly linked to autoimmune activity. The cruel part? Most people dealing with Hashimoto's are also running high stress lives, which means the condition and the trigger are feeding each other constantly. This is the part where a lot of people realize their flares aren't random. They're a response. But stress is only one piece of what's quietly working against your immune system. What happens while you're asleep or not asleep is doing just as much damage. And that's the second missing piece, sleep. Most people treat sleep like something they'll catch up on eventually. And that habit is costing them their immune health. Sleep is not a reward for a productive day. It's the biological window where your immune system resets, your hormones recalibrate, and your body clears inflammatory debris. Research shows that even a single night of disrupted sleep can measurably dysregulate immune function. That's not cumulative damage over years, that's one bad night. For someone with Hashimoto's, consistently poor sleep means elevated inflammation, disrupted thyroid hormone conversion, and a body that never truly steps down from high alert. Think about how many nights of broken sleep you've logged in the last month. And then think about whether your flares follow a pattern. I can absolutely verify how, when working the night shift as a young nurse, my sleep deprivation not only contributed to my crankiness, but also to my weight gain. I must have gained at least 10 pounds during that year, not eating as healthily as I usually would, while losing quality time with my family. Nobody should have to work the night shift. Our bodies are just not meant to do that. But I sure do value the people who do this. Many of my patients do shift work, and I do recognize that many of their health issues could be resolved if they change that one aspect of their life. You might be thinking that you'll fix the sleep issue when life slows down. But what you do in the gym in the meantime might be making the problem even worse, not better. But before we get into that, if this is already clicking for you, grab a copy of my ebook, Prescription Detox: How Our Allegiance to Big Pharma Makes Us Sicker, and How You Can Heal Without Meds. It helps you start healing from autoimmune conditions such as Hashimoto's and finally understand why you have struggled to heal up to now. Now, this next thing that can cause a Hashimoto's flare is too much of a good thing. And that good thing is exercise. There's a version of your workout routine that is actively making your Hashimoto's worse, and it's the one you were told was the healthiest. Movement is genuinely therapeutic for autoimmune conditions, but the dose and the type matter enormously. High-intensity training in a body that's already inflamed does not build resilience. It spikes cortisol, floods the system with inflammatory signals, and tells your immune system there's a crisis. If you finish a workout feeling wired, exhausted, or like you need a 2-hour nap, that is not a badge of effort. That is your body communicating overload. The swap is not giving up. It's being strategic with walks, yoga, and strength training, with real recovery windows that work with your thyroid, not against it. Training to feel strong and supported is a completely different relationship with your body than training to punish it to submission. And your immune system knows the difference. You can dial in the sleep and the movement perfectly and still be triggering flares through something no one in your life is calling a health issue. Finally, here's the most uncomfortable trigger on the list. And I have lived this one. It isn't something you eat or a workout you did. It's someone you talk to or interact with every day. You see, your nervous system does not distinguish between a physical threat and an emotional one. It registers both as danger and responds with the same cortisol surge, the same immune activation, the same inflammatory cascade. A relationship that consistently leaves you feeling diminished, dismissed, or drained is a chronic stressor, and chronic stressors drive chronic inflammation. This includes the friend who subtly dismisses your symptoms, the partner who doesn't take your health seriously, the family member who makes you feel like you're being dramatic, or an act of betrayal by someone you loved and cherished that blindsided you. Coming to grips with what occurred, creating boundaries, and focusing on your health are not a wellness trend or considered selfish in the context of an autoimmune condition. They are necessary clinical interventions. I don't have Hashimoto's, but I did develop a different autoimmune condition as a result of a trauma I experienced when a very close person to me turned my world upside down. It was my own oldest daughter, who I cherished and would have done anything for, like most good mothers would. For the first time in 12 years, I'm admitting publicly that my husband and I are one of the 27% of parents experiencing adult-child estrangement, something I never even thought was a possibility. I'm not using this as a platform for this horrible trend of parental betrayal. There are already appropriately many of those available, many of which I have found solace in. I'm saying that this took an emotional and physical toll on me for years. And one of those tolls was how it contributed to my immune crisis. So, yes, even the people around you can either be part of the healing or part of your inflammation. And you get to decide which. For me, I decided after going through many stages of grief, plus additional grief stages no one even told me existed for losing a child who's still living, I wasn't going to let it continue to rule my life. This wasn't easy, but it was absolutely necessary for my family's survival. Plus, I was blessed because of my educational background to understand what is needed to survive an autoimmune condition like this, including having balanced hormones at this critical period in your life. So many people in the support groups I was a member of were going through the same trauma, didn't have this knowledge because the conventional medicine system has failed women in the area of menopause care. I know their suffering would have been significantly less had they had balanced hormones. My recovery didn't happen overnight, it took years, but there is hope and a better life out there for you if you don't give up, regardless of what the trauma was for you. Take a breath with that one. It's the hardest to overcome. What comes next, where all of this starts to come together in a way that actually changes how you approach your days, Hashimoto's, as well as other autoimmune conditions, is not a condition you manage only at the dinner table or the pharmacy counter. It lives in your nervous system, your sleep patterns, your gym schedule, and your relationships. And every one of those levers is something you have real influence over. You're not a passive bystander in your own immune health, even when it feels that way. In the next video on the screen, the chemical triggers are the next layer I will discuss, the ones hiding in products you've been using for years without a second thought, from your cookware to your bathroom shelf, and they connect to everything we've covered today in ways that are going to surprise you. Now that you know lifestyle is driving your flares, you're going to want to know what's hiding in your home that's doing the same thing. Click the video on the screen and I'll show you right now. And if this video helped you, please like and subscribe and comment on one of the lifestyle changes that helped you better manage your Hashimoto's or even a different autoimmune condition.